say hi to all of you, all those who are here. Welcome everyone to this session where we are going to be talking about CSAT. हम थोड़ी सी बातें करेंगे आज CSAT के बारे में. What is the preferred language? Can you tell me if English or Hindi or English will work for you? Can you quickly tell me? Let me see if the chat is okay. I think the chat is disabled. So anyway, I'm going to start in English and I'm going to use a mix of English and Hindi so that everybody can understand. Okay, मैं थोड़ी हिंदी and थोड़ी इंग्लिश में बात करूंगी so that you can understand. For all those who are not Hindi speaking, I will be discussing everything in English also. My name is Abhilasha and I head academics for Career Launcher. I will be taking sessions with you guys. Quite a few of your sessions in the online forum will be taken by me. All right, hello and welcome. Let's get this session on the road. Let's start. Okay, so let's first start with the UPSC exam pattern. We'll talk about that and then we'll come to English or the verbal section where I will tell you what exactly the verbal section is all about. So the first stage of UPSC is the prelims or the preliminary examination, which of course is an objective type 1 day examination. You have two papers in the prelims. The first is the general studies and the second is the CSAT test. The general studies paper is 100 marks. The CSAT is 80 marks. 80 questions and 100 questions. The marks are 200 for GS and 200 again for paper 2 or CSAT. The weightage of course is 100% for GS. For CSAT, it is a qualifying paper. You need to get at least 33%. Okay. तो prelims हमारा पहला स्टेज होता है. उसमें दो सेक्शंस हैं, दो पेपर हैं रादर, GS और CSAT. GS में 100 क्वेश्चंस होते हैं, CSAT में 80 क्वेश्चंस होते हैं. दोनों 200 मार्क्स के हैं. GS has 100% weightage. GS का weightage 100% है और CSAT is a qualifying paper. तो उसको आपको क्लियर करना है, उसके मार्क्स काउंट नहीं होते हैं, इसलिए 33% मार्क्स is all you need. At any point of time you need to ask something, please feel free to ask. The second stage of this examination is the mains paper, where there are several papers. So you have, it's a 5-day exam. Please understand it's a longish exam. So you have paper A, which is an Indian language, 300 marks. Again, it's a qualifying paper. Paper B, which is English, again, 300 marks. It's a qualifying paper. So to qualify these, just like CSAT, you need to qualify. Then there are then there is paper 1, which is an essay of 250 marks. The qualifying percentage is 12. And then you have 4 papers of GS, papers 2 to 4, GS 1, 2, 3 and 4. Each are 250 marks, 49% weightage in GS. And then paper 6 and 7 is optional 1, paper 1 and optional 1, paper 2. So you can have 2 optionals of 250 marks each and 25% weightage, right? So that's your stage 2, the mains. Total of 1750 marks is all that is granted in this paper. All right, so we were talking about the CSAT and we said that the first portion of the exam is the preliminary, then you have the mains, and then you have the stage 3, which is the personality test. Now in the stage 3 personality test, there is only one portion, that is the interview of 275 marks having 14% weightage. So the grand total is 2024, where the mains is 1750 and 275 marks is the interview, making up the total exam. Okay, so that's your entire paper. Now let's look at this paper let's look at CSAT in detail. तो अभी बात करते हैं CSAT की, which is where we come in, right? We are helping you prepare for CSAT. So CSAT has 80 questions. They are all multiple choice. Multiple choice means you have 1, 2, 3, 4 choices given to you. You choose an answer. तो इसमें 80 multiple choice questions हैं. आपके पास choices होंगे 1, 2, 3, 4. Choose कर सकते हैं. Marking scheme is 2.5 marks each. So हर question पे 2.5 marks हैं. Negative marking 1/3 for each incorrect answer is negative. So that's 0.83 marks each. And the qualifying marks is 33% or 66 out of 200. Entire paper is 200 marks. 80 into 2.5 will be 200. So 200 marks. You need to get 66 marks in CSAT. आपको चाहिए 66 नंबर 60 और 6 क्लियर करने के लिए. So CSAT में it is officially called General Studies Paper 2. It is conducted as part of the UPSC CSAT Prelims. It is a qualifying paper. The structure is very simple. It is a multiple choice questions, 2 hours, 200 marks. That's your paper. Okay, let us look at this trend analysis for 2019 to 2025. CSAT के ट्रेंड को समझने की कोशिश करते हैं 2019 से 2025 तक. तो सेक्शंस है मैथ्स, रीजनिंग और इंग्लिश. Total number of questions have remained 80. The 3 sections, maths, reasoning and English, look at the breakup. In 2019, maths had 32 questions, reasoning had 18 and English had 30. Now, English went down to 26, reasoning went down to 12, but maths went up by 10 marks or 10 questions to 42. Then in 2021, maths came down by 11 questions, reasoning went up by 10 questions, and English went up by 1 question. Then 2022, again, the math section increased by 5 questions, reasoning went down by 5 questions, English remained as it is. Then 2023, maths again went down by some 7 questions, English reasoning came down by 6 questions, and English came down by 1 question. And then in 2024, again, maths came down by some 5 questions. Reasoning went up by 4 questions. English went up by 1 question. And then in 2025, maths again came down to 34. English reasoning went up to 17, so 2 questions, and English went up by 2 questions and came to 29. So every year, one thing is that the pattern changes. It goes from 32 to 31 to 42 to 43 to 38 to 34. Now, in maths, in reasoning, it's gone from 18 to 22 to 12 to 17 to 11 to 15 to 17. Numbers have changed. Again, English also. Interesting thing is that the number of questions keep changing, right? Number of questions keep changing every year. And that's so interesting. Now, if you look at English, and let's look at the difficulty level for the last 6 years, 2019 to 2025. Now, how many easy, moderate, and difficult questions were there in English? So, in 2019, there were 10 easy questions, 12 moderate questions, and 8 difficult questions, right? Now, if you look at 2020, there were 8 easy questions, 12 moderate questions, and 5 difficult questions. 2021, there were 12 easy questions, 9 moderate questions, and 6 difficult questions. 22, the number of difficult questions went up to 12. And easy and moderate came down. Then 23, the easy questions went up to 10, moderate and difficult went to 8 questions each and remained consistent. Then in 2024 and 25, the number of easy questions has gone down drastically. The number of moderate questions has gone up and the number of difficult questions in 25 has really come down. So again, one thing that you will find that the pattern is changing very, very fast. So to really say what kind of pattern will happen is going to be very difficult. Anyone who's preparing will have to prepare for every eventuality, which means it could be 12 difficult questions, or it could be 16 moderate questions, or it could be maybe 10 easy questions also, whichever way it goes, right? Now, the important thing is that how do you prepare for this? So what you do is, of course, you write mocks. Our mocks, we're giving out 15 mocks. Those mocks are very well defined. And what we do is, before we start a mock, start creating a mock, we create a design and a template. So every question is set according to the level of difficulty. So it is patterned, the papers are patterned on some exam or the other. So the exams, the mocks are very close to the actual exams, and that's the good thing. Now, how's the distribution of the English questions happening? If you look at the last 4 years, 22, 23, 24, and 25. So there are four types of questions that are essentially there: assumption-based, central idea-based, corollary, and paraphrase. So what is an assumption-based question? Assumption-based question expects you to identify what must be true for whatever the author has said to be true. Okay. So it is that statement which is necessarily true for the author's statement to be true. Now 25, there were 13 questions, 24, there were 11 questions, 23, there were 7 questions, 22, there were 5 questions. So the number of assumption questions has been increasing every year and should continue at 13 or should go up. Now, if you look at the central idea-based questions, it's from 5 to 12 to 12 to 14. Again, it has increased. So, the number of central idea-based questions is also going up. Now, logical corollary has gone down from 3, 4, 3 to 1. And paraphrasing has also gone down from 4, 4 to 1 each now. So, one thing we see that questions which are logic-based, okay? Logic-based assumption questions, they're increasing in number. Questions which are central idea-based, okay, which are the global questions, right? They're also increasing in number. Okay. The corollary and the paraphrasing, just one sentence or the passage conclusion, those have definitely reduced. So from this patterning, what we see is in 2026 also you should get a good number of assumption based and central idea based questions. So your preparation, of course, will focus a lot on how to do these logic based questions and to do the global questions very well. Now, what are the key pointers for CSAT 2025? It has noticeably raised the difficulty level of CSAT. And 2025 was no exception. They were very difficult questions. So it was one of the toughest CSAT papers that UPSC has set in recent years. Now, the logic why they're doing it, you think it is a qualifying paper. But it's actually not a qualifying paper. It's an eliminating paper, or you can also call it the silent killer. Why are we calling it the silent killer? The reason is very simple. Everyone thinks, oh, you only need 66 marks. Oh, only 33% is required. But getting to that 33% or those 66 marks is going to be very tough. Right? And that's the reason why it's called the silent killer. You think that, oh, it is very easy. Oh, there's no big deal. It is. There is a big deal. It is a difficult thing. There is difficulty in this, right? So the things that are being tested, the kind of questions, the kind of difficulty level, and that has made CSAT a tough paper. So if you think it's going to be a cakewalk, it's not going to be a cakewalk. अगर हमें लगता है कि ये बहुत easy होगा, होगा नहीं इतना easy. थोड़ा सा difficulty होगी ही होगी. और वही trick है यहाँ पे. Now, what are the common mistakes that anyone who wishes to write this paper must avoid? You cannot underestimate the qualifying nature. Cannot think, oh, it is just a qualification paper. I'll be able to do it. It's not a last moment paper. You cannot say, okay, I will do my GS throughout the year and CSAT I will do only right in the end. You cannot also say, I will ignore one section, I will ignore another section, I will not bother. I'll just do quant, I'll just do English. No, you'll have to do everything. Also, spending too much time on one section, that can be a killer. So these are some common mistakes that you need to avoid while you're writing your CSAT. Always remember, you start your preparation for CSAT right away. That's the important thing. Now, what's the right approach for this? You have to cover the syllabus very comprehensively. It is very unpredictable. Now, here it's the concepts that are key. If you only focus on the shortcuts, you will not be able to do well. So, concepts पे focus करना है बहुत जरूरी होगा. Regular practice. Take guidance to fast track your CSAT prep. Guidance is essential. It will help you focus on the important areas, help you miss out or leave the unimportant areas. PYQs again are very, very important. Please make sure you're solving all the PYQs. We have the PYQs on our website, so do that. And of course, a test series is absolutely essential so that you can benchmark yourself. See, even if you keep preparing for 100 years, but you don't write the test, you don't benchmark yourself, how do you know what is right and what is wrong? So therefore, it is absolutely essential that you benchmark, you write a test, you do a good test series so that you know that you're able to handle this, right? Also, with Career Launcher, we are also releasing a video solution for every test. So that also is a big relief for everyone here, right? You look at the solutions, look at the video solutions, you understand the questions much better than any other way. So that's also important. All right, I have a few PYQs here, which I did want to discuss with all of you. So we will take a look. All right, so I'm going to put out this first question to you. Excuse me. Take a moment, read it, and then you can type your answer into the chat box. Okay, and then we will discuss it. So you have a minute to read and solve. All right, I'm getting my answers. Let's quickly read the passage together. It says persistent drought in parts of India in recent years has revealed. Persistent means ongoing, something that is not stopping, has revealed a growing imbalance between water demand and supply. This imbalance is largely attributed to the indiscriminate exploitation of groundwater, urbanization, and a failure to conserve rainwater. Farmers, particularly in arid and semi-arid region, continue to depend heavily on bore wells and tube wells, extracting water faster than it can be replenished. So they're using up water very heavily. In cities, unregulated growth has paved over natural recharge zones and obstructed the flow of water into aquifers. Despite policies promoting rainwater harvesting, the actual implementation has been patchy and ineffective. Unless urgent and comprehensive measures are adopted, many regions could face acute water scarcity, jeopardizing both agricultural sustainability and urban resilience. Now, what is the most logical, rational, and critical inference that you can make? Let's take a look. The growth of urban areas has no impact on groundwater level is incorrect. There is an impact. Farmers in arid regions should be prohibited from using bore wells. Can you prohibit? No. Water conservation policies are ineffective due to lack of implementation. Can I say that? Yes, it is. Right? Actual implementation has been patchy and ineffective. Correct? You said that. So it has been patchy and ineffective. Therefore, their water conservation policies are ineffective due to lack of implementation. India does not receive enough rainfall to meet its water needs. No, we really cannot say that. We are failing to conserve rainwater, but getting enough rainfall or not is not mentioned here. So best answer will be option number C, which is what you've got. All right, here's your next question. Which factors contribute to the imbalance between water demand and supply? Okay. Come on, in the chat box, question number 2. Okay, Nandini says A, Sanika says A, Shubham says B, Maisha says A. Now, this was a very clear question which you could have picked. It says what factors contribute to imbalance between water demand and supply? Growing imbalance between water demand and supply is largely attributed to indiscriminate exploitation of groundwater, urbanization, and a failure to conserve rainwater. So, therefore, over extraction of groundwater, urbanization, weak implementation of policies. Is that also a reason? Can I put a star on this? Only unavailability of rainfall? No. Excessive rainfall and floods? Where have we said that? Only agricultural practices? No. So best answer of course is option number A. All right, let's look at the second paragraph and try and solve questions for this one. Which statement best reflects the central idea? What is the passage? Oh, you're all giving me answers. B. Sanika, Salimuddin. B. Maisha. B. Dharna. B. Amardeep said A. Oh, Amardeep also said B. Let me read this passage. It says, many educators argue that teaching should be less about rote learning and more about developing critical thinking. Despite curricular reforms, emphasis in classroom often remains on preparing for exams. Students are trained to reproduce information rather than question it. This culture, coupled with parental pressure and societal expectations, has stifled creativity and problem solving skills in graduates, leaving them ill equipped for a rapidly changing job market that values adaptability over memorized facts. So, what is the central idea? Parental pressure is the only reason? No, this is an extreme option. Classroom learning must prioritize critical thinking over rote learning. Yes, this is what he's saying. Examinations alone determine true intelligence. No, the job market does not need memorization skills. We have not talked about that. It values adaptability over memorized facts, but it does not need is extreme. So, therefore, your best answer, option number B. All right, let's take a look at this next question. Which of the following mentioned as factors stifling creativity? What are these factors that stifle creativity? So, this culture coupled with parental pressure and societal expectations has stifled creativity and problem solving. So parental pressure and focus on exams is a good choice. Lack of students in school, no. Government ban on innovation, no. Technological barriers alone, no. So best answer is option number A. All right, let's take a look at this next question. Question number 5. Let's do this. Okay, what is the most logical conclusion of this set? That is what the author is asking. India's forest policies have historically focused on revenue generation rather than conservation. So we are talking about creating money, large-scale commercial felling, cutting of trees, encouraged under colonial and post-colonial regimes, led to depletion of forest cover. Recent decades have seen a shift towards afforestation and joint forest management, but implementation remains inconsistent. Local communities which are often affected by deforestation, have not been given adequate rights or incentives to protect forests, leading to conflicts between conservation and livelihood. So, revenue generation has no link, incorrect. It has a link. Forest policies have been perfectly implemented. No, that's incorrect. Forest conservation needs stronger community participation and consistent implementation. Yes. Local communities are irrelevant to forest conservation. Incorrect. So the best answer here is option number C. All right, let's look at question number 6. Which of the following factors have hindered forest conservation in India? What are these factors that have hindered forest conservation? Emphasis on revenue generation, inadequate rights to local communities, inconsistent policy implementation, or is it D, all of the above? Yes, I can see Mariam, Maisha, Taira, Dharana. All of you have given me the correct answer. It is D, all of the above. We have seen this emphasis on revenue generation, right? You have given inadequate rights to the local communities and policy implementation has been inconsistent. So all three, therefore your answer has to be option number D. Good job, you guys. All right. Next passage. We'll do this passage. There are two questions and then we'll go to the syllogism questions also, which are part of this set. Your verbal teachers will teach you syllogisms also. So this one says technological innovations in agriculture such as precision farming and genetically modified crops have been hailed, so have been announced as a solution to food insecurity. But the minute he says, yet I know, there's something else that he's going to say. Yet their adoption in developing countries has been uneven. So they haven't adopted them. Smallholder farmers often lack access to credit, reliable information, and infrastructure, preventing them from benefiting fully from these advances. This uneven access risks widening inequalities as large commercial farms adopt technologies faster and consolidate their market power. So, what is the most rational inference from the passage? Technology alone cannot solve food insecurity. Okay, put a star. Smallholders should stop farming. Not at all. Food insecurity has been eradicated. Not at all. Only large farms use technology. Can I say that? So, what should my answer be? I can't say that only large farms use technologies. I say they adopt technologies faster, but it is not that only they are using it, right? So, therefore, D is also incorrect. So, best answer A. That technology alone cannot solve food insecurity, correct? All right, let's look at the next question. Why might inequalities increase despite technological advances? So technological advances have happened, yet inequalities are increasing. So what is the reason behind that? Okay. Government discourages technological use. Incorrect. All farmers have equal access to credit. Not all farmers have equal access. Technology is universally available without cost. No. Large farmers adopt technology faster than uh, smallholders, and therefore there is the increase in inequalities. Good. Let's take a look at our next type of question. This is a question called syllogism. You can solve it either through rules or through Venn diagrams. The choice is yours. Okay. So let me do one for you and the others you do. So all books are papers can be drawn like this. I have all books are papers. And all papers are pens can be drawn like this. Okay. So can I say all books are pens? Yes. Can I say some pens are books? Yes. I could have also drawn it like this: books, pens, and papers. And in this case also, all books are pens would be valid. Also, or some pens are books would also be valid. So answer will be both 1 and 2. That is your correct answer. Okay. So that's your syllogism. If I had to solve this through rules, I would have said all books are papers. Paper is the middle term. Distributed. Yes, here it is distributed. So answer should be all books are pens. If all books are pens is valid, then some books are pens and some pens are books are also valid. So therefore both again follow. All right, here's your next question. Now this one you solve. Okay. I'll wait for your answers. All dogs are animals. Yeah. So I would say all dogs are animals and some animals are cats. I could draw it like this. Yeah, some animals are cat. So can I say some dogs are cats? No. Can I say all cats are animals? Not in this diagram, so no. So answer will be neither one nor two follows. Yeah. And then you do now some of you will say, ma'am, but you could have drawn it like this also. But please understand, whatever is a valid answer has to be valid for all situations. Now, in this one, it will be valid, but in this one, answers will be invalid, and therefore they are invalid. If it is valid, it has to be valid everywhere. If it is invalid, even one situation it is invalid, it's gone. Okay. Now, if you were to solve this question through rules, because the middle term animal is not universal, therefore this question will not have an answer. Okay, so dogs and cats answers will not happen. Now, some animals are cats can lead to some cats are animals, but cannot lead to all cats are animals. So therefore, neither would have followed. All right, here's your third question. Okay, take a moment, read and solve. All cars are jeeps, all jeeps are trucks. Can I say all trucks are cars? Can I say all cars are trucks? Cars are jeeps and all jeeps are trucks, so all cars are trucks is valid. But can I say all trucks are cars? No. So therefore only two will follow. Therefore your answer should be B. Yes, which is what you have given me. Dharna, Mariam, Rajiv, Salimuddin. I hope you've understood why all trucks are cars will be invalid. Look at this diagram itself, right? And also if I were to solve this through rules, jeeps is distributed here, you cut it out, all cars or trucks will be the answer. Also then if you have all cars or trucks, then you could have had some cars or trucks, some trucks or cars also. Okay. All right, here's your next question. Some men are doctors, all doctors are engineers. Can I say all engineers are men? Can I say some engineers are men? Go, everyone do this. The lovely questions these are, and they're very easy to do. So if you have a grip on syllogism, and let's say you get two questions on syllogism, they say there were no questions on syllogisms, but if there are, then you get those two questions perfectly right, right? So that's 5 marks in your kitty without doing much. Now, some men are doctors, all doctors are engineers. So if I were to do it like this, some men are doctors and all doctors are engineers, I'll draw it like this. Can I say all engineers are men? No. Can I say some engineers are men? Yes. There are some engineers that are men. So only two will follow, right? Now, if I were to solve this through rules, this one doctors is distributed, so I will cut it out. It should be some men are engineers and some engineers are men. So therefore, only conclusion 2 will follow in this case. All right. Here's another question. This is from CSAT of 2018. All pens are pencils. No pencil is an eraser. What's going to be your? Yeah, let's take a look. So all pens are pencils. Let me draw this. This is pen. This is pencil. No pencil is an eraser, so eraser will become here, will come here. So can I say no pen is an eraser? Yes. Can I say some erasers are pens? No, of course, there's nothing common in this. So the correct answer is no eraser is a pen, which is only conclusion 1 follows. Right? Now, if I were to solve this all plus no, the answer has to be no. No dash R dash. Now, both the places are distributed or universal. So, I'll put pen and I'll put eraser. So, no pen is an eraser or no eraser is a pen. So, answer is option number 1. So, your correct answer will be A, only conclusion 1 follows. Okay. I hope you got that. All right. Okay, guys, I hope you were able to understand some of these questions. In class, we will cover more questions of these types. We will do PYQs. We have some amazing study material for you. And of course, the most awesome mocks that are available for you. Please remember to like, share, and subscribe our YouTube channel, which is UPSC CSAT. And also you can join our Telegram group, search for @CLUPSC, or you can scan this QR code from here itself, right?